What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Pro-Spects YouTube channel. Today is a very special day. We're doing a mock draft to kick off the very first video on this channel. We're about 2 weeks away from the draft right now, and I don't know about you guys, but I am very excited. I've been watching a ton of players from this draft so far. You guys will get videos on who's my favorites, who I'm a little bit down on. I'm super excited to start getting that stuff all out to you. And lastly, before we start things here, I just want to say thank you to anybody who's watching this now as this comes out. Or we're going to be talking all things NFL. We'll dive into college once the draft season starts rolling around a little bit more. But let's kick things off with the Chicago Bears. They traded Justin Fields. It's pretty obvious where they're going. It's been obvious for quite some time now. They're going Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is awesome. I'll make a video on him, but he can make every throw. He's accurate. He gets through his reads on and sees what the defense is giving him, and he's the best player in this class by a mile. I love Caleb Williams. He's gonna be a stud. At number two, the Washington Commanders. I've heard a lot around the league from sources, not my own sources, but Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, all of that kind of stuff, that Jaden Daniels is going to be the guy at number two for Washington. He's a guy that likes to push the ball down the field, and Terry McLaurin's the perfect guy for that. And Cliff Kingsbury is the perfect offensive coordinator for that type of player. It should be really interesting to see how he pans out. He can be a really exciting player if he turns out well in Washington, who needs to fill the void at quarterback. And another team that I think should do the same is New England Patriots. And you look around, there's not a lot of talent really anywhere on offense. Your wide receivers are old. You don't have a quarterback. Your offensive line's pretty okay. I think you need to lock in your quarterback of the future. Drake May can be that guy for you. He's got a big arm. He's really accurate. He's a smart and athletic player. He's got a lot of upside. I think he's the second best quarterback in this class, despite going behind Jaden Daniels here. Number four, I think this is where we see our first trade in the draft, and I think that is going to be the Minnesota Vikings trading up with number 11, number 23, and number 167 to get number four and a third rounder next year. But I think this is going to be the trade that send Minnesota up to number four, and that's going to be for them to take their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. We're going four straight quarterbacks at the top of the draft here. Minnesota's been heavily tied to J.J. McCarthy. It's a great situation for him to go to. You got Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, not to mention Justin Jefferson, and Kevin O'Connell, who's an outstanding offensive mind at head coach. J.J. McCarthy's got some question marks, but he's a winner, and that's all the NFL GMs are valuing right now. And you can see the potential. There's definitely something there. At number five, the glaring need is obvious. It's wide receiver for the Chargers. You traded Keenan Allen to the Bears. You released Mike Williams, who's now Jet. You got your pick of the top two guys at the top of the board here. Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is just the more complete player, and their new coach, Jim Harbaugh, he's seen him up close and personally. He knows what he can do. One of the best receiver prospects we've seen probably since, I'd say probably about Justin Jefferson. Now you're at number six. The Giants could go a lot of different ways here. Do you stick it out with Daniel Jones? Do you go offensive line because Evan Neal has not been that guy? Do you go wide receiver because that's a room that's lacking a little bit? And I think that should be the direction they choose to go. Now, right now, you're looking at Malik Neighbors and Romo Dunze. And Romo Dunze is one of my favorite players in this class. And Romo Dunze is one of those guys that when the ball is on the 1 yard line, it's fourth and goal, and you got to throw it. Everybody in the stadium knows it's going to Romo Dunze. He has that type of potential. Him going to the Giants, it gives Daniel Jones a reliable, all around great receiver that should give the Giants offense a little bit of a spark now that they lost Saquon Barkley. Number seven, the Tennessee Titans. They could go a couple different places too. They could go receiver. They could get Malik Neighbors. They could get Brock Bowers. He'd be an upgrade over Chigoziem Okonkwo. I think the number one priority, though, should absolutely be protecting Will Levis. You do that with the best tackle on the board with Joe Alt. He's an anchor on the left side. He'll protect Will Levis's blind side for at least 5 years now that they gave him some weapons. Joe Alt's an amazing prospect. Number eight, the Falcons. Falcons are a team that could go a lot of different directions here, too. Go with Malik Neighbors, add some speed to that offense. You could go Offensive line, if you wanted to. You could go and get Police Fuaga, Troy Fatanu, Leitu Leatu, who's one of the best pass rushers in this class. I think they go with the best all-around edge defender, and that's Dallas Turner out of Alabama. He's really explosive and strong off the edge. He's really good at rushing the passer. He can set the edge in the run game. It's just a good all-around edge defender. He's not good enough to be taken up in this range, but around the 8 to 10 range is where I expect for him to go. And now the Bears are they're grinning ear to ear. Malik Neighbors is on the board. You pair that up with Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen, and DJ Moore. That's a top five offense. Chicago's got a really good thing going on right now. They could be really dangerous if they make this move for Malik Neighbors. Big time speed, big time deep threat, can kill you running after the catch. Number 10, the Jets are in an interesting spot here because you got to take offensive line. But do you think Talise Fuaga is worth being taken here? You might if you value Aaron Rodgers staying upright and healthy and not having a repeat of this last season. I think you go Talise Fuaga. And now we're at the Cardinals, who traded from number 4 with the Vikings. They could go a number of different ways. They could go the interior defensive line. They could go the offensive line, even though that's a little high for some of these prospects here. They could go corner. There's a lot of different ways the Cardinals can go here. And I think just looking at how the board is sitting here, you go and you get a guy that can be a number one corner for you, and that's Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo. He's a freak athlete, had outstanding ball skills, had 6 interceptions, I believe, in one game. I mean, just unreal production. He played at a smaller school of Toledo, but with corners, it's a little bit of a different story. You can see the instincts that they have, and Quinion Mitchell is a natural talent at corner. That brings us to Denver Broncos at 12. I have no idea what Sean Payton would be thinking. Is it too high for Bo Nix or Michael Penix? Probably. You got to think Bo Nix is pretty enticing here. He could fit right in with that Sean Payton quick game offense. Was great with the RPOs at Oregon. They didn't ask him to throw the ball a ton down the field, but with how they're reshaping that offense, that might just be the guy. And the position is valued super highly these days. I think Bo Nix is the pick here. And Denver has a guy that they can absolutely build around for quarterback and have that franchise guy they haven't had since Peyton Manning. The Raiders at number 13 could go a number of different ways. Quarterback's their biggest need, but I think they like Aiden O'Connell. They lost Josh Jacobs, probably use an offensive lineman or any talent really on defense, and I think they look for somebody to plug up the middle alongside Christian Wilkins, alongside Max Crosby, Byron Murphy goes to the Raiders. It's a great fit. Just a big guy with you got Christian Wilkins that can rush passer. Byron Murphy will eat the blocks. Max Crosby comes off of one side. And then you got Tyree Wilson on the other side. And that's just you just make an incredible defensive line to put pressure on guys in your division like Patrick Mahomes, like Justin Herbert. You put pressure on those guys and you can beat those guys in those games. Number 14, the Saints could go again a number of different directions. I think offensive line could be a priority. Trevor Penning has not been great for you. I think you could go wide receiver. You need somebody else to pair with Chris Olave. You could go defensive line. You could get edge to secure that spot. Cameron Jordan's going to leave. And I think they're in a spot where they think they can get some development out of a guy like Leitu Leatu. Phenomenal pass rusher. He's got the deepest bag in the class. He's not as much of a run defender, but I think the Saints could, I think they'll be happy with that. They get a guy that can come on the edge, put pressure on the quarterback, and help Marshawn Lattimore, help him out a little bit. And Cameron Jordan, get a guy across from him. Number 15, the Colts. This is a spot I really like Terrion Arnold too. They play a lot of man coverage over there. They had Stephon Gilmore over there a few years ago. Terrion Arnold, that's what he does best. He's a press man corner specialist. He's a shadow on receivers. He's an outstanding prospect. I think he's going to be exceptional in the league. It's a good pick there for the Colts at number 15. Number 16, we're going to have to dig a little on the board here. It's going to be Jared Verse. Jared Verse is really powerful with his hands. He's outstanding run stopper. and he provides some power in the pass rush game. He's really good with his hands and his placement and just getting under the pads of tackles and just driving through. He's a really good edge rusher, and the Seahawks I think will be pretty happy with that. Number 17, we're gonna address the offensive line. We're gonna protect Trevor Lawrence in what could be a make or break year for him because you look at the numbers and they've been okay, but his numbers haven't been great for somebody taking that high with the expectations he had. And I think a priority has to be protecting Trevor Lawrence. You've got him some weapons this offseason. Now give him time to be able to hit them. Number 18, Brock Bowers is staring the Bengals right in the face. And what's that at their top of their needs list? That's the tight end position. Brock Bowers is one of the best tight end prospects we've seen in recent memory. He's an absolute stud in the receiving game. He'd be an absolute weapon for Joe Burrow in that offense. You know, you might get T. Higgins back for one more year. You get Jamar Chase still. That's a crazy three-headed dragon that Joe Burrow will get to sit in the pocket and throw to. Now, the Rams reeling after the Aaron Donald retirement. I think Jerzon Newton is just looking at you right in the face. Um, you know, he provides juice in both aspects of the game on defense in the pass and the rush. He's a better run defender than he is, but he do not take that as he can't rush the passer. He is very strong in the inside. He's very quick, which is something that Aaron Donald was, and we saw how much of a difference he made throughout the course of his career with the Rams. And it's just a great fit, and it's a positional need that the Rams fill here. Number 20, the Steelers. The Steelers are interesting. Traded Kenny Pickett. You got Russell Wilson. You got Justin Fields. You traded away Deontay Johnson to the Panthers. George Pickens is looking like he's going to be the number one guy. What's on the receiver board? Brian Thomas is here. Adonai Mitchell is here. He's one of my favorite players in the class. Lad McConkey. It's too high for these three, I think. So then I think you pivot and you look at the offensive line class. Roy Fatanu's still here. He'll be a fantastic guard at the NFL level. Olu Fashanu from Penn State. You know, he's taken a little bit of a hit in his draft stock as of lately, but he's just an athletic freak. And he was great in college, except against those Ohio State edge rushers. And he's just a guy that could be an anchor at the tackle spot for years to come. You got the kid from Georgia last year on one side. Now you get Olu Fashanu on the other. You shore up your tackle spot. You protect whoever is going to be your future quarterback for years to come. The Dolphins at number 21 are weird because you lost kind of some studs in free agency. Christian Wilkins moves on. You had to release a couple guys here and there. They are just in a very odd position. And they really are in a spot where they could go best player available. And I think they do. I think they take a shot on Nate Wiggins. They love speed in Miami. And I think finding a good corner after releasing Xavier Howard on the other side of Jalen Ramsey is something that they're going to really look to do. And Nate Wiggins is going to be that guy. He's got lockdown potential. He's got island potential with his length and his speed. Weight could be a problem in the run game and injury concerns, but I think if you're the Dolphins, you have to hope for best case scenario and hope that you get a true lockdown corner. Eagles at 22. It's got to be defensive back of any kind, really. I mean, we just saw how they all got torched in the late end of the season and in the playoffs by the Bucks. And Cooper DeJean's here. He's really versatile. He could do anything the Eagles ask him to in the secondary. He's a great athlete, dynamic playmaker on the return game. And it's a little weird to go back to back corners here, but that's what I'm going to do for the Eagles here. Now, for the Cardinals, here at 23, we gave them Quinion Mitchell at 11, so they've shored up their corner spot. I think you look to maybe reach on a receiver a little bit here and give Kyler Murray another weapon. I think Brian Thomas is the most dynamic receiver of the guys that are left. I think he's got he's going to be a great deep threat for Kyler Murray to hit on the deep ball. He's big, tall, ran a 4.3 40 at 6'4". That's just something you don't come across a lot. And when you get that combination of height and speed and ability this late in the first round, that's a guy you take a swing on. and you feel that you can take a chance on because he has all the tools to succeed, and it's a decent situation at the quarterback spot. So this is a guy that could really break onto the scene and provide some juice to this Cardinals offense. 24, the Cowboys. It's got to be offensive line. They love their big athletic freaks, and that's Amarius Mims. He's a big boy out of Georgia, played on the right side. Didn't play a whole ton, had some injury problems, but Cowboys have never really steered clear of that in the past. So we're going to keep up with the trend, and we're going to give them Amarius Mims to give Dak a little more protection so we can find guys like CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks all day. Packers. I don't know exactly what the Packers could do. I've seen a lot of talk about corners. Seen a lot of people say offensive line has been the really big thing that they need to do. And I just gotta be honest, I don't really know what they could do. There's Kool-Aid McKinstry sitting here. Maybe that's a little too early. You look, there's Graham Barton. Is this the right spot for a guard? You're not taking a safety or one of the linebackers this high. What do you do if you are the Green Bay Packers? And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't really even know. I mean, Troy Fatanu could play guard in the NFL. He's got a little bit shorter arms. J.C. Latham is a pure tackle. Graham Barton's a guard. Tyler Guyton's a tackle. What's in the interior? Zach Frazier, too high for him. Christian Hayes, too high for all these guys here. I think you look and you say, we need guard. Okay, let's get Graham Barton. We're going to take him a little higher than people normally would think, but let's give Jordan Love some protection so that he can keep playing great like he has so far in his year of starting, and see if we can just make another run in the playoffs here. And another team looking to probably make a run in the playoffs is the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield's your guy. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both come back. You got an aging defense. Traded Carlton Davis to the Detroit Lions. There's a hole at corner. And if there's anybody that can fill the void of Carlton Davis, it's Kool-Aid McKinstry. Kool-Aid McKinstry is really versatile. They love playing zone coverage down there in Tampa. And that wasn't something that was Carlton Davis's strong suit. Kool-Aid can do all of it. He can cover and zone. He can shadow you in man. He comes up and he makes tackles. He's a smart and instinctual player that just looks like the game is so slow for him. He just sees everything develop in front of him, and he just can make. He's a playmaker. And the Buccaneers get a really solid player at number 26. At 27, the Cardinals are here again. 3 first rounders for them. You gave Kyler Murray a pass catcher with your last pick. Now I think you give him a little more protection up front with Troy Fatanu. He slides in to play guard. You already have your 2 tackles with DJ Humphries and Paris Johnson. So why not just make that offensive line a little bit beefier? We've seen how teams like the Lions and the 49ers have built through their offensive line, become juggernauts in the NFL. It's how you win is when you protect your quarterback. And now instead of protecting quarterbacks, let's look at helping them out a little bit. Josh Allen on the Bills traded away Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis walks in free agency. Aging offensive line. What do you do here? It's no brainer. Adonai Mitchell is an absolute stud from Texas. He's one of my favorite players in this entire draft class. He's big, he's tall, and he's smooth with his route running, which you don't see a lot for a guy that size. And now I'm looking at 29 for the Lions. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a guy that I really like going there. Brian Thomas and A.D. Mitchell are guys that I could definitely see go there. I think it's too high for guys like Zach Frazier or Tyler Guyton or Mike Sanders still to take here. So I think the Lions are going to pivot and they're going to look to shore up that edge defender spot alongside Aiden Hutchinson. James Houston's a situational pass rusher. I think you look to get a little more twitchy off the edge, and with the spot the Lions are in, you can afford to take a developmental player like Chop. He's twitchy off the edge. He's got crazy good bend, and if you can hone that technique in the run game into an NFL caliber player, Chop Robinson could be a handful for a lot of teams coming up here. And now, number 30, the Ravens. We're almost done here. You look around, and all of these receivers that are on the board are the same type of build that they've just drafted year after year after year, 5'10", 6 foot, speedy slot guys. I just don't think that's been working for the Ravens. And when I look here, I scroll down a little bit and I see a guy that's big and imposing, and that's Keon Coleman. I mean, absolute unit at receiver. Dynamic after the catch. He's a jump ball specialist. He's going to go up and get it for Lamar Jackson and bail him out in the red zone. Keon Coleman's a really special player. You know, is his route tree the most dynamic? No. But the Ravens run the ball anyway. Number 31, the 49ers need to address the offensive line. It's an easy pick for me. J.C. Latham's going to be the guy. He's an anchor on the offensive line. He's big and he's heavy and he's a mauler in the run game. And the 49ers love to piggyback off of their run game. I mean, that's how they got to the Super Bowl, where they couldn't take down our last pick here, number 32, the Chiefs. The Chiefs could go a number of different ways. I think they're a team that is absolutely in play for a guy like Lad McConkey. In Andy Reid's system, Lad McConkey is going to be an absolute freak. But I think they feel they need some more speed at receiver like a Tyreek Hill, and that's Troy Franklin for me. And that's going to be our draft. Is any of this probably going to come true? 98% of it probably isn't. The only one I got right is probably the very first one. And that's it. That's going to be it for our first video here, guys. Make sure if you like the video to drop a like, and subscriptions help too. Going to help the channel grow so we can get more content like this, and over time I'll get better and the video quality will get better. But it's baby steps right now. And again, thank you all so much for tuning in and watching this.